Our next speaker is a certified life coach, corporate trainer, and author of 45 books. He holds masters in international cooperation and development, bachelor degree in business management, and postgraduate diploma in economic diplomacy from the Center for Foreign Relations. He is the CEO of Top Team Academy and Africa Success Academy, which both deal with training, consultancy, and business advisory services. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Joel Nanauka, who will be speaking on building resilient teams, quality leadership in uncertain times.
Thank you so much for the welcome. And once again, I want to really appreciate having this opportunity to share basically on building the resilient teams through quality leadership in these uncertain times. May I also put forward my congratulations to all the seller teams for the good work that you're doing, both in terms of technological solutions that you're providing, as well as such kind of learning session that you have like this one also. So, according to John Maxwell, everything rises and falls on leadership. But one thing that is very clear to every one of us that there is not one person enough to become big and to do great things in life. It is what Isaac Newton said: if you want to go first, you just go alone. But if you want to go far, go with some people. So as a leader of an enterprise, the quality of people you surround with, the set of skills they have, attitude they possess, emotional intelligence they have, and leadership capacity that are built with them, it determines how far you can go and how much you can achieve in this life. So before venturing into the deep part of the presentation, I would like to share what I read from one of the book, The Diary of the CEO by Bartlett. He said, in life we have 5 buckets that each one of them has to be filled, and that's to be filled in order for you to be relevant in whatever thing you are doing. Number 1, you need to have the bucket of what you know, which refers to knowledge. So anyone who wants to be great in any kind of leadership, who wants to make changes, you want to make positive impact, any kind of transformation, you have to be knowledgeable on what you are doing, but specifically in the area of your field, because you cannot be a leader in the field that you are less knowledgeable. So the first cup that you have to fill is knowledge. And this is field specific. And we all understand that knowledge plays a great role. And from the simple research done by different people, suggested that you need to invest at least 10,000 of hours for you to become a master in your field. So what separates you first is the knowledge you possess, specifically in the field of your pursuit that you want to lead. But second is what you can do, which basically refers to the quality and type of skill that you need. So it's all about skill set. And then from a human resource understanding, we know that the competence framework for each profession, you need to possess at least 5 to 7 key skills in any profession for you to be outstanding. And then you have who you know to build in your life. The same that your network is network. Not for you how far are you is another cup that to be filled for leader who wants to be standing in whatever thing that doing. And the fourth one is what you have, which refers to resources that you have. Now, resources can cut across from the time we have as a resource. It can be financial resource, but also it can be people, human resource. Like what we are doing this time to is managing the resources and building this. And that's what they think of you, what they think of you, because which can in the higher level means how much people can give, can sacrifice for you. So as any leader, these are the 5 buckets that each one of us needs to be able to consider and give it a priority. So in building resilient teams through quality leadership in certain times, I think the first thing is to understand that we're living in the world of uncertainty. And it is commonly known as VUCA world. VUCA world it is a short form that refers to 4 key words that can define the kind of world that we're living in. So number one, our world right now is very volatile. That simply means it can change anytime. You have no guarantee of containing it, because anytime one thing can trigger changes in any other aspect of life. So whether it being technological, whether being marketing approach, whether being the taste and preferences of people that you're serving. So the word is volatile. That means I need to be aware and to be awake to understand that I can sleep, go to bed tonight in a certain understanding of aspects of what I'm doing. But tomorrow when I wake up, the volatility of the word will not allow the word to remain the same. So it reflects also to a lot of things that we're doing. For example, the prices of, let's say, capital markets, they're very volatile. So in terms of share price, in terms of maybe bond price, in terms of mutual funds, if we talk of finance, but also when we talk to the buying prices of items that we buy always, raw material, even payment of people we work with. So VUCA word refers to a word is very volatile. So it also attracts the attention of every leader to understand that I'm living and leading in a volatile environment. But also, U stands for uncertainty. We can't tell what tomorrow holds. It's very uncertain. It's like one thing can trigger changes in everything that we are doing. So it's uncertainty in terms of economy. We have uncertainty in terms of maybe food prices, fuel prices, uncertainty in terms of, as I said, taste of people and preferences of people. What looks like it's a big thing in the market today, tomorrow can be a flop. So the world is uncertain. But also, there's a complexity of how the world is running. And this is because the world is too connected. So once one sector is being affected in any way, it affects almost every other area of what we do. And we can easily understand that because in the past, someone who is engaged in agriculture, he might think or he might work um, very comfortable, and perhaps he needed not know anything so much about health or about technology. But today is different. The world is so much tied up. The world is so much connected. It's so complex. So you can have an impact on the health sector, and it can literally affect every other sector. We had an example of corona outbreak, and we saw how much it affected. It was a biological issue, it's a health issue, but we saw it affected almost everything. So whatever is happening one side of the world is really connected to your own side. So as a leader, you cannot say, I am not concerned with what is happening perhaps in Ukraine because I'm not in Europe or I'm not in America. But in the real sense, if you look deep into the numbers, look deep into how things work, there's a connection of what you are doing. If it doesn't affect you directly, it will affect you where you're sourcing your material, it will affect your audience you're serving, their attitude, their purchasing power, and everything. So the world is too complex. And this calls for every leader to be able to build a very strong team, but also quality team that's updated in everything. But also the ambiguity that is surrounding the world. It's like you things are so much ambiguous. The sum of things are hard to define. You can't tell real sometimes what people do want, because sometimes they will show preference on some issues and later on you realize that's not what they meant, it's not what they want. So there's a lot of ambiguity. A lot of things are changing very fast, and it's tough and hard for any leader to be able to define how things are going on. So VUCA world, though as it has been existing for a very long time, but in the world that we're living right now, I think it attracts attention of every leader. And most of the companies, most of the enterprise have lost their foot on the ground simply because they're not able either to adapt quickly to the changes, but also most importantly, to build able team members that are able to go with the wave of change that is happening. If you look into history, we understand there are a lot of companies that have lost their ground simply because of the VUCA world. Some of them, in terms of technological aspects, look at Nokia, which in the past had a large percentage of shares in the market, but literally now it's not a competitor. That is a big threat to most of the mobile companies. But if you look at the history, you understand it was just the changes that was happening, the volatility of the world in terms of technology. Look at the companies like Blockbuster, the film renting company, that was outsmarted by Netflix. So if you look at Nokia, Kodak, if you look at Kodak, it was a digital filming. So every change that is happening in whatever aspect of life, one day or another, it can also affect what we are doing right now. So if you look at the Henry Ford Motors, you understand it lost a big market share simply because the delay in terms of changing. So it doesn't matter which industry you are, whether you are in the knowledge industry, whether you're in a technological industry, whether you're in agriculture, whatever thing that you're doing, you cannot escape from the impact and experience of the vocal world in your field. So, having understanding the nature of the world that you are living right now as a leadership environment challenge, I think maybe we narrow down to the challenges of modern leaders, because as we said, the world we're living right now might quite be different from the world that other people lived in the past, but also the kind of people we're working with are quite different in terms of how they're built up, how they're brought up, in terms of their character, in terms of their attitude, and everything. So, what are the challenges of the modern leaders when you are leading nowadays in the current world? What are some of the challenges that we can experience? So, I've picked 5 of them. One is the rapid changes that happen in the world right now. Every change will call up for also a change in either exactly what you're doing, the product you're offering, the service you're offering, or the way you're offering, or it can also mean that I need to create completely a new product. So there are rapid changes that are happening in the world right now, almost in every aspect of our life. But the 3 key areas where these changes are happening, which each and every one of us needs to pay attention. One is in terms of knowledge. The simple research by Brian Tracy said that nowadays the half-life of knowledge is 2.5 years to 3 years. That whatever we know right now, maybe after 2.5, 3 years, will either be obsolete, that means it will have no power, or it will have lost a lot of sense, because the discovery of knowledge, the speed of discovery of knowledge is very fast, and it doesn't allow us to even meditate on what we have learned yesterday before we are bombarded with a new revelation, with a new invention, with a new knowledge, new discovery, new research that have been done, and to prove a lot of things wrong or not applicable that we knew before. So one is the rapid change in terms of knowledge, but 2 is rapid change in terms of technology. We all agree that there are a lot of things that are happening now in almost every industry that are changing technology. So if you go to medical technology, we used to have open surgery, but nowadays people can have closed surgery where no one needs to be opened up, and things are happening very effectively and people are treated. So if you go to how we share things, like what we are doing today, we're in technology, we have been connected with technology. Perhaps in the past, I would need to travel maybe to be physically present somewhere. So every change in technology causes change in terms of knowledge also. So the first aspect of change, which is knowledge, is it affects technology, but also the discovery in technology will affect also the knowledge. So you need also to be updated in terms of technology, what is happening. How can I simplify? Because speed is one of the key factors in service and product delivery nowadays. But also another rapid change that we experience is test of people. Because of new discovery, just like in maybe we can give an analogy of food. Just because of the new discovery in terms of taste of food, okay, so in terms of recipe perhaps, so people tend to look for new taste of everything they're doing. So likewise in lifestyle, People are looking for new test of the book they read, new test of the knowledge they are offered, new test of the way things are offered to them, new test of the experience they have in service industry and everything. So all these areas where we're experiencing rapid changes are the challenges of modern leaders of our times. So to summarize, rapid change in knowledge, rapid change in technology, rapid change in tests. So as a leader, I need to be aware on how I can monitor these changes in these three areas so that I'm on time, or most importantly, ahead of time before I'm left behind. But area number two, where modern leaders are so much challenged, is talent retention. We understand that with the high level of technological change and knowledge change and availability of knowledge, especially online, with a very cheap cost, it has made people to be so much potent in terms of what they know, what they understand, the skill they can offer. Now, technology also offers new opportunities of work. So, whoever talented person I have right now, perhaps in the 2 3 months I've groomed it, I've given him opportunity for growth and everything, but also there'll be so much opportunity for him to express and to deploy what he knows. So one of the challenges that we can have and we can face right now is talent retention. How do I retain good people in my company? How do I retain excellent people in my company? So most of the companies, most of enterprise, one of the challenges we have is perhaps we groom people and later on they go away and they use what we have trained them in other companies. So growth is part of the process, but it is frustrating when every time you have to recruit new people to help them, to mentor them, and to grow them as well. So the other thing or other challenge, number three, is helping we call focus staff management. How can I make my staff being focused? Because we are really living in the world of a high level of distraction where the attention span of most people is very low. One of the very interesting research that was done, it was said that attention span of the golden fish right now is almost 11 to 12 seconds. But attention span of an average person right now is 9 seconds. So in comparison, we say golden fish has much higher attention span than common and average human being, which means that people, they are getting it tough and hard to focus on things. Now, this is both on I would refer to the when doing a given assignment or given task, but also being focused on doing something for a very very long time. Also, it's a challenge. With the new generation that we have right now, Generation Z, for example, they like dynamics. So they want to be dynamic. They want to be uh, to be uh, to have changes in life, to test different things and their nature. So sometimes it's very hard to maintain their focus. So as a leader, my question would be, how do I make my people focused in what they are doing? So that's another challenge we face in this world. Number four is managing diverse workforce. From as a virtual, we're getting virtual every day, and this allows people to participate in being employed maybe through virtually or online. So nowadays I can advertise a job here and I can have someone from Bangladesh applying, and when I look at his skill set, is the kind of person I needed. Now, managing diverse workforce in terms of our background, in terms of our time difference, global time difference that we're facing, in terms of our attitude, how we define things. So, with the technological change and the possibility that have been created, it means I can have an enterprise where I work with people from different parts of the world who have got different kind of background, different types of attitude, different timelines, and everything is quite different. So, as a leader, I think one of the challenges we have in modern times is to be cultural, to have cultural comprehensive understanding, that I need to be able to be so much aware of the difference of culture aspect so that I can avoid even those what we call unconscious bias or stereotypes or such kind of things, simply because I'm not aware of the diversity that we have. So as a leader, I think that's one of the things that we have. We're working with people from different countries, different race, sometimes different professional, different upbringing. So all those things are calling for a leadership aspect of ability to manage diverse workforce. Now, this is not only between a leader and the staff or a follower. It also be between the team members that you are leading. So you can have people in your team who are coming from different aspects of life and different understanding, different experience. It will real call for your understanding on how you can make them play as a team, because collection of a talent, it doesn't form a team, it forms a group. So a team is when everyone understands his role and understands his fellow staff and knows how to align with them and to produce effectiveness and efficiency in what they are doing. But number 5, another challenge we have as modern leaders would be balancing work-life integration. Yeah, with the world that things are going very fast, with the world that things are real tough, we can understand sometimes it's very hard to balance our lives. So I'm referring to things of like being able to have a self-care, to be able to take care of yourself, to be able to set boundaries, to prevent burnout, because especially for example when you are having your own company or you are running your own enterprise, you are self-employed, sometimes it's very tricky because you find yourself doing a lot of things, waking up very early, going to bed very late, managing stress from the moment you get out of your bed to the moment you go to sleep. So sometimes it becomes a big challenge, because if you don't take care of yourself, you end up being suffering burning out, and then being stressed, being frustrated, going into depression. And what happens? It affects everything around you. It affects your the quality of relationship you have. It affects the quality of work you are doing, and also it affects the energy that you have in doing things. So I think it's very important to understand that there are times that I will need to manage myself in terms of balancing the vision I have, the goals I have, the passion I have, balancing with other aspects of life, not only health, but also research has proved that most people who are working with their own enterprise, one of the areas they have in terms of impact, negative impact, is the relationship with their loved ones. So it says that spouse or children, there's a lot of disconnection that's happening nowadays between parents and their children, simply because of the lack of balance. So I think with how things are running fast, we're trying to catch up and everything, but most importantly, we need also to understand that we need to create that balance. So these are some of the challenges, or the key challenges that modern leaders are facing. Now, if I want to be effective and efficient in what I'm doing, I will need also to identify some of the kind of the team members that I need specifically at these times. So because I understand that I'm facing all these challenges, all these problems, but I need to understand. So what kind of team members do I need? What kind of team members do I have to ensure that I have them in my team? So number one, in every team that I build, I need to have strategists. And this is important because one of the things that we are suffering right now in generation that we have is people failing to be strategic in what they're doing. Strategic thinking is what makes a strategic person. And the strategic is your ability to look at the bigger picture and to see and know how can you connect them in line with your vision, in line with your goal, in line with your mission. So I need to have in my team not only the people whom I can send or I can tell things to do, but people who are strategic, people who I can tell them in the next 10 years to come, I want to build a global company in terms of maybe educational content or self-help content. Now, I need to think with me, how do I get from here to where we're going? So strategic person can now think from 10 years later and bring backward connection and see what can be done today to build what you need to build tomorrow. So this is a strategist. Now, it's unfortunate that most of the time we are surrounded with a lot of people, a lot of staff, a lot of colleagues that we bring them into our companies, but we lack this kind of strategy, because any company owner, any person who offers anything through self-employment, you will need sometimes to think with someone else, to be able to have a mind and understanding that you can align your thinking with. To have a person who can be able to see what you're seeing and being able to bring something new or something different to challenge some of things. So most people, when they're building team, one of the mistakes we're doing, we lack this kind of strategic people. So as a result, we are leading other people and we have no one to think at our level. That means we have no one to see what we are seeing, and that deprives us a lot of perception and imagination in what we're doing. But number two, we need innovators, because, as I said, the world is changing rapidly in terms of knowledge, in terms of technology, in terms of test. So we need people who can go ahead of time, because someone said, if the time the new product is being brought in the market, it is the same time that you try to create your new product, you are late in terms of market strategy. Simply means innovator thinks ahead of time. He knows what goes ahead and he prepares for the future, because luck is when opportunity meets preparation. That's what we call luck. So innovators can go ahead of time. And to be able to go ahead of time, we need to research. We need to be able to research. So whether it's an online research or it's a physical research, but we need to research where the world is going. And when I use the word research, it's not necessarily academic research. It simply means being able to find out from what people think what they will need in the next 10 years, in the next 5 years, in the next 1 year. So I need to be ahead of time to understand what are the tastes and preferences that people are looking for, so that I cannot be outdated or outsmarted by people in the same industry with me. So I need people. Perhaps you are not good in that, but I think you need innovators in your circle, and you need to be able to give them time, to give them space, to be able for them to come up with new ideas. Because one of the challenge of many of the founders, I would say, is thinking like, because I innovated this company, I innovated this product, I'm the best brain. But that's not necessarily. You can be the innovator at the first idea, but someone else can come and improve the idea and make it so much outstanding. So being able to give an opportunity and the space to people to air their views, to give their ideas, to allow the areas of improvement, in fact, to be open-minded to these kind of people, innovators, because most of the time when they think their ideas, their contribution is not taken seriously, is not valued, most of these people will tend to quit and go somewhere else where they're given that opportunity. But number three, in our team members, we need to have analysts, people who can connect dots, different dots, people who can analyze the impact of price reduction, people who can analyze the impact when I'm offering bundle promotion, the impact of having a certain product, the impact of price change. So these people are analysts, so they can give you a fair analysis of exactly the action that you're about to take. So what I'm trying to communicate here is, before we tend to take a major step in whatever thing, we need to pick some brain from kind of team members who are analysts. And if you live with people, you talk with people, you can know. Even us in our circles, we have friends who are analysts. Every time you tell them something, they want to ask details. They want to ask how things will happen. They want to ask a lot of details than the one that you have never thought before. So, in your team, you need to ask yourself, what kind of analyst do I have who can help me to see things perhaps which I didn't see, to understand things that I didn't understand, to have an eye on things that I did not also have an eye before. And the last kind of person you need in your team is what we call team player, or you can call him a communicator or team player, a person who holds the group together. If you look at the history of most of the big companies which have one founder, so let's say Google, let's say Apple, and such kind of companies, we understand there's a big personality difference between the two founders. One will be more into technical, more into or technological, or into the skill of building the company. The other one will be more of a communicator and the one who carries the brand. So if you go to Facebook, we all know about Mark Zuckerberg, but we don't know so much. We don't know so much about his partner. When we were talking about Apple, we knew so much about Steve Jobs. but we didn't know so much about Steve Wozniak. So it's all like that. So in every team, we need someone who connects and binds the team together with a team player. And this can be based on their personality, or sometimes it can be based on their skill. But I need to identify such kind of a person, because most of the time they tend to be so much influential in inspiring and motivating the team, but also they can have a negative effect on demotivation of my team. So I need a team player. When every time I need to build and to hold the team together, I need someone who can be able to go ahead and share or and lead. So sometimes when I want to introduce something in the company, I need to look for this kind of person who is a very good communicator, very good team player. So when he understands, he will relieve me of a big burden of ensuring that everyone in our team is on board. All right. So these are types of team members. So as I was speaking, I know there are quite other team members type that we'll need, but at least for me, I think from my experience, these kind of team members have helped me also to build what I've been able to build so far, and to be able to be relevant in the market, especially on the area of self improvement, area of writing, area of digital production, and such kind of things. So maybe you can look onto your team, and what I would have to say, if you analyze yourself, you can tell in which area you're strong. For example, are you a strategist? Are you innovator? Are you analyst? Or are you team player or communicator? So there's one of those qualities that you possess too much, or you possess in a higher level than the other one. So here is the failure, where the failure comes. Most of the time, the type of people we are, we tend also to look for the same kind of the people like we are. So it has been observed, if someone is strategist, he appreciates more of strategist and will employ or engage more of strategists, and they forget every other kind of team members. And it is quite understandable, because most of the time we try to like things the way we are. But the downside of it is we lack other components. So most of the time we surround with ourselves with the same kind of person whom we are, which is the failure in team, because team simply means contribution of each team members to the bucket of your organization, whereby you can get the diversity of skills, understanding, and knowledge, which will help you to produce and to leverage in what you're doing and to produce a great thing. So most of the time, one of the failure we have is we tend to like people like we are. So maybe I give you a simple homework to do. Look at the people you work with. What kind of people you admire most? What kind of people you are saying this man or this lady is very smart? What are you looking at? If you're not careful, you will realize that the people you admire, the people you love most, the people you give priority to, the people you consider so much powerful in your organization or in your company, or people you're working with, are the people who are like you, because we tend to love and like people like us. Now, the downside of it, if you don't do your own analysis, you will lack and you'll miss a lot of people whom you need. You might not love them, but you need them in your work, so that they can produce a good piece of work and they can complement what you're missing. So lastly, maybe we can check, how can a leader build a team in these uncertain times? How do you build a team? We have seen the challenges that we're facing. We have seen we're living in a vocal world, but how do we now build a team? So there are a few things we can do, which practically I've done them and I've seen them working. Number one, you have to offer strategic benefit to your staff. You have to offer strategic benefits to your staff. You see, we're living in a world that success can bear a different meaning from one person to another. Not everyone looks at a position or title as success. Not everyone who looks at financial benefit alone as a success. Not everyone looks like working in a big companies as a success. So I need to offer strategic benefit to whoever is working with me. And I will mention 3 areas where you can offer this strategic benefit to any person who works with you, who can be able now to be attracted, and you can be able to maintain them in whatever you're doing. So basically, number one, we have finance, which is very common. Now, in terms of finance, every person who works with you, one of the biggest benefits you want to see in his life is financial gain that he has. So I've learned from practice that one of the things that you can do in terms of finance, every key person that you are working with, you can ensure that as you grow in terms of financial benefit, they also grow, especially key people. You cannot do it to everyone. I hope you understand that. But every key person that you think you need to grow with them in whatever you're doing, you need to ensure you give them opportunity to grow financially as you grow. And this can be in a different, in a various way. One, it can be you offer a percentage in terms of revenue, because that will ensure that as you grow in terms of revenue, also the key person in your enterprise also grows with you. Some people can offer them in terms of share. Some people can give them in terms of sales percentage, that when we go to this level, then we also have an opportunity for you to, when you cross this level, maybe a target, then you also have an opportunity to do that. So taking my example, I opened my first YouTube channel in 2017, and that's when I started producing videos. I can tell you the person who opened my YouTube channel, an expert who opened my YouTube channel, I still have him even up to now. And among other factors, but one of the things I did, I gave him a percentage of my YouTube revenue. I made sure that this is what you can get. So whatever he's doing, he understands that if he produces more, he also gets more out of it. I do the same in the digital books as well. So I, for that, I've seen it works, especially for the best people I want to maintain in my life. And they feel like they're no longer working for me, they are working for themselves also. And they understand that the more we earn, the more they earn. And that has worked positively to me. And I'm just giving it as an idea. You can see how best you can do it. You can do it with yourself as well. So even with my physical bookshops, chains of bookshops that I've opened, I've done the same. And it has relieved me with a lot of tension and overworking, because I turn them from being staff to being managers. And then they understand that big. It comes also with other challenges, but I would say for me, I think it has worked perfectly well. I have more benefit than the downside of it. So number two, strategic benefit that someone can have is network and relationship. At work, we are not only offering money. Show them that you can help them to have network. You can have relationship. So you can give them opportunity. I mean, you can expose them. You can help them to get into places where they have never thought they could be. You give them platforms of some sort. So you introduce them to people. Like the people I'm working with, some of them, I know they're not working only with me. When I meet some people who admire what I'm doing, they will ask me, how do you manage your YouTube channel? I can tell you, the person that I have right now, which I referred, and the person who deals with my digital, I've given them a lot of network and relationship that are high level. Some of these people I've connected with are higher than me in terms of their titles, in terms of their influence in the specific respective field. I've introduced them to corporate world where they're working. So working with me for them is not only that they are getting money, but they know that through me they can create new network and new relationship. And I would say you just need to be confident that if you treat people well, they'll never run from you. No matter how much opportunity you open for them, they will remain loyal to you because you're treating them well. So you can offer network, you can offer relationship, which they consider it as a valuable factor in valuable sector. Number three, strategic benefit you can offer is growth opportunity. They have to realize that working with me is not about only making me big. It's not about building on my brand. I give them growth opportunity in terms of skill. So sometimes, if I find that I have an opportunity, I sponsor them for a skill training. I sponsor them maybe for a simple travel. I allow them to grow in terms of what they are doing. One of them came up and he said he wanted to open some sort of a digital company. I helped him open the digital company. So he's still a person I'm working with, but also through his digital company, he makes money through his through other network and a relationship that we have built, and is now owning his own small company that is running, but still he works with me. So it's a growth opportunity. 2 days, last week, I had the engagement, 3 engagement that I had to undertake, actually 4 of them. And I couldn't be in 4 places at once. So what did I do? I made sure the people I've groomed with, they went and deliver. One went to do leadership training, the other one wants to do self-development training in another region. There's one I introduced him to do finance training with the members of parliament, because I had a more higher engagement. And these people have gone there, have delivered excellently. Now, sometimes we think when people grow, it will be threat to us. But what I've learned is when people grow, when you give them growth opportunity, they continue being loyal to you, and you continue expanding your wings as well. So give people growth opportunity. The more you give them growth opportunity as a strategic benefit, you build a very strong team. So sometimes someone have to see, working with you, where will it take him? What kind of person will become tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, next year? What kind of person will become? So the more I seize those growth opportunities, the more you'll give so much into what you're doing. So offer strategic benefit to whoever you're working with. Number two, mentor them. Mentorship. Create a very strong and well-defined mentorship program. Look at your people, examine them, see their strength, see their vision, see areas where they want real to become different, and what you can do, design a mentorship program. In 7 years that I've been working digitally on a serious note, I built a very strong mentorship program with people, and mostly online. We have built leaders on different aspects of life. And these people are doing amazing in the marketplace. And this has made them to be so much proud of me, but also they're not my competitor. They're just my team members. So sometimes when I need them, they'll be available to do. And most of them, they feel like they have to pay back because of what I've done, because of what I've invested in them for such kind of for such kind of time. So in mentorship, it simply means raising people. It simply means building people. Miles Monroe said, "A leader is not successful if he doesn't have a successor." So you need to build people, because the more people you build who can do what you're doing today, the more easier it becomes for you to go to a higher level. You cannot. So let's say if I have a friend, or if I have a young brother whom we're living together, and I buy a car, and we have to go to town every day, single day. So as long as I've not taught my young brother how to drive, I will need to be the one driving towards the city center and coming back every day. But if I train him, in the time that he's driving, I can be writing notes for my next presentation. I can be making some calls to some clients. So growth of every close person to you, it simply means growth to yourself. So the more you have a lot of people mentored in the area where they can do so much good, it helps you and it pushes you upward very fast, and you become effective and efficient in what you're doing. And number three, which is the last one for this session, how can you build a good team? Can build a team in this uncertain time? Delegate, delegate, learn to delegate. I think we have what we call founders syndrome. Founders syndrome is when most of the founders believe that there is no person who can do job or can take that assignment better than him or than her. And because of that, they tend to try to do everything, and they take a long time to trust people on what they can do. So you can delegate based on 3 things. One, delegate based on the interest of people, passion of people. So look at their passion and see what thing they like most, and delegate according to their passion. Number two, you can delegate based on their skill, because someone can have a passion but he doesn't have skill. So if I see this task and it's a very skilled person, I will now allow them to undertake that task based on the skill set. Number three, I can delegate based on experience. How much experience does someone have? And then I can be able to delegate that thing to them. So as you delegate, what happens is you are giving people opportunity to error. You're giving opportunity to do mistakes, which helps them now to be able to correct themselves. But also the most important thing is delegation. you allow people to build confidence in what they are doing. So start small, grow up your delegation, and help people to be fit, to be confident and powerful in what they're doing. If you do the three things, you offer strategic benefit in the area of finance, network, and growth opportunity. If you mentor people, if you delegate to people, I believe you'll be able to build a very strong team that can help any leader in these uncertain times. So thank you so much, and I would like to return the session to the moderator.
Hello, Mr. Joel.
Yes.
Hi. Thank you so much for this session. It was really eye-opening. I think one of my favorite parts was hearing you say delegate and how much it gives people power. And also the point of, helping your staff, not just just through money, but also through giving them opportunities. So thank you so much for that. It was really inspiring.
Thank you.